So long, till we meet again, in a better place, after your redemption. Don't look forward to 72 virgins. It ain't happening. Solongmani is so long money. No more money. So long. So Trump took out Solongmani. Well, what did the kids have to say about this? Well, let me get right into their bullet points. Why Trump decided to kill the Iranian general Soleimani. Not murder, not assassinate. Kill. Kill. Well, let's see. Bullet point number 1. It was found out that Soleimani was planning on attacking and killing American diplomats and military personnel. Well, he had been doing that anyways. He was the guy apparently behind, the insurgents during the Iraq War years, okay? It was like, hey, this Iraq War is perfect cover for us to slake our thirst for killing Americans. Death to Americans, we can kill them and not directly get blamed. How about that? So he is the world's poster boy for the punk move. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude that pops crap in the back of the classroom when you was in school and then everybody else get into a fight and he just back out of the way telling the teacher, I don't know what got into them. He's like that guy popping junk, instigating stuff, and then everybody else gets carted away to the principal's office, right? You got to understand your Solongmanis. Alright, so he had been doing some dirt from before. Alright, that's bullet point number 1. He had been killing Americans from before. And he was planning to do some more. Look, if people who don't know, here's what happened. They killed, look at these rockets. Okay, it says Iran on them. They killed an American and injured 4 other people in a rocket attack. This is what started this whole thing, okay? The next thing that happened, what happened was the U.S. Rocketed some facilities, or took out some facilities that the Iranians were using, okay? So that was number 2. That was act number 2. That was retaliation for this American getting killed. So in retaliation for these rocket attacks on these facilities, the Iranians instigated some anti-American action against the embassy. And then buttholes on our side of the water, of the pond, who, can't stand Trump no matter what. I'll talk about that later. They decided to say, oh, this is Trump's Benghazi. Okay, Trump's Benghazi. Yeah, but nobody died in that embassy attack because Trump responded as quickly as possible. Okay, and during that entire impulse move, okay, that entire movement coincided with some intel about the fact that Soleimani was coming into the area to do what Soleimani do. If you got an upheaval and you got some Americans adjacent to that upheaval, Soleimani wants to plan a way to end the lives of those Americans and then slip back into the darkness. Okay, this is his groove. Okay, so knowing that this was his groove, he comes into the area and he's benefiting from this basic secrecy about the way he moves and people tolerating it and all this kind of stuff. Sure, you came into the region to just a routine checkup on your friends or your men here and there. You weren't planning to escalate what was going on around the embassy and all this kind of stuff. No. The hottest thing going on at that time was the attack on the embassy, and you had flown into Iraq just to it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence that this general and this guy who had killed many Americans and then slipped away into the darkness to claim credit for it later. Oh, he wasn't coming there to make sure that these attacks were more effective. No. And there was no intelligence about it. Couldn't be. It had to be that Trump just was so mad He was so mad at the embassy and being toyed with and trolled and this is Trump's Benghazi, and he was so mad. He just stumbled into an assassination. Trump is so bad. So second bullet point: for years, the Islamic Guard, the Quds Force, under Soleimani's leadership, had targeted, injured, and murdered hundreds of American civilians and servicemen. The recent attacks on U.S. Okay, this is just more of the same. So Trump took him out because it was like, yo, cut the crap, Iran. Okay? We're not playing. You know, when you tell somebody you're not playing, you got to be ready to do something that lets you know that the relationship is nowhere near going to have the benefits that it used to have. And us not whooping your behind is a benefit to you. Okay? So that benefit is gone. In other words, you do something to us, we're going to make you hurt. Now, one of the things about being a Christian, and America is a Christian nation. Squeak, squeak if you don't know what I mean, or if you totally don't like what I said. America is a Christian country. Part of being Christian is turning the other cheek, and part of turning the other cheek is misunderstanding the concept of turning the other cheek. Now, there have been people, bad guys, all around the planet, including Satan himself, who have benefited from a misunderstanding about what turn the other cheek means. Turn the other cheek means that I can exercise my prerogative as God's child to try to figure out before I whoop your butt whether you slapped me as a policy or you slapped me because you kind of had a momentary loss of control. I, out of love for you, might take some time to figure out whether you did that to try to end me or you just kind of lost your mind for a second. But if I figure out that you did that in an attempt to end me, oh, you best believe that I can defend myself. But a lot of people think, as a Christian, you're not supposed to defend yourself. And a lot of the enemies of the West go, hey, you're not supposed to strike me back. You're not supposed to defend yourself because you're not obeying your Lord, Jesus. Right? So they've been benefiting from this. All right, so Trump comes in. He's like, yo, we're not going to do that no more. You going to hit us? We're going to hit you. We're going to take away the benefits that you used to enjoy, including us being the type of Christians that don't want to make our God mad by hitting you back. That would not be a loving God that just has us going off to the slaughter. Okay? So some of us Christians understand that. And so we don't live that way. All right, I'm going to move on. Next, rocket strikes have killed Americans and injured. Okay, we talked about that. Some of these bullet points are redundant because I have multiple children that are impressed in different ways by this news story. Another bullet point. Assault on American embassy in Baghdad carried out under the directions of Soleimani. Okay, so I already talked about that. All right, Soleimani led repression of protests in Iran. Oh, ain't this a great one? Soleimani put down the protests, the last protests in Iran. It is said that he killed hundreds of his own people in order to discourage those who survived that action to learn their lesson, to encourage them to learn their lesson, to discourage them from further action against the Iranian government and even the image of the Iranian government. He was harsh to his own people. That's the point. Soleimani, yep. So, extra. George Bush was the one who wrongfully deployed troops into Iraq over a rumor of WMDs. He was never questioned for impeachment or being a warmonger. Trump, on the other hand, one of his other bullet points, Trump used the least amount of military force out of all the presidents. So Trump, they're trying to fit Trump into some sort of a narrative where they get to call him a warmonger. But here's what Trump did. Trump used very little military force, but he did it in a very harsh and decisive way. Okay? You know, they say it's better to just pull the Band-Aid off than to be belly aching about how it hurts and it's pulling out little hairs when you pull the glue is pulling on the little hairs around the cut, and some of the scab is getting pulled up and stretching your skin because the scab is next to the skin, and so some people just say it's better to just rip that band-aid off, right? When you think about it, you rip the band-aid off, the amount of time that you are engaged in a discussion with pain itself is very short. But when you go, you're just lengthening this long discussion between you and pain. And pain gets to plague your mind for some long period of time. I used to be a swimmer, and, every day, the pool was cold after school. And, we'd be like, who's going to jump in? I'm not ready to jump in. And you put your toe in the water, you're like, woo, woo, and it's just this agony. So, but by the time I got to my junior year, as soon as I got up on the pool deck, I just jumped in the water. You know why? Because at some point I realized I'm going to beat this terrorism thing. I'm going to beat this. The water's terrorizing me, okay? But the way to cut it short is to just jump in the pool. As soon as you jump in the pool, your body takes a certain amount of time to get used to the water. And, all the psychological belly aching you did on land is just added to the brief moment of time that it takes for your body to get used to water, right? So we've been belly aching over Iran for a long time. We ain't never pulled a band-aid off. Nope. A lot of belly aching. Decades worth of belly aching. And what did Trump do? He took out one of their generals. He made him hurt. He made him hurt for real. But I think they deserved it. I think that, one general compared to hundreds and thousands of lives of our people and their own people, the people who want freedom over there. Is one man really worth the thousands? I mean, is that really a question? Anyway, I got one more point my kids wanted to make. Hope you enjoyed this video, this discussion of things to think about. Trump used the least amount. Okay, Trump offered a peace treaty. Now, my son put that up there. I guess in the next video, I'll talk about Trump's peace treaty because I didn't study up on it, and I don't want to go on and on about something or try to talk about something. I'll ask him what he meant. I just got in from work. This is our family project, and we're gonna put this out every 7 days, like I said last week, and we're gonna work out the kinks. But you know something? This is not too bad. I'm glad my kids are watching the news more now. Anyway, if you have any comments or anything you want to share about this, or you want to bring us all up to speed on this peace treaty, or maybe it's a pseudo peace treaty, I got to ask my son about it. But if Trump offered some sort of a peace treaty, a truce with Iran, and my son is on to something real here. Wow. What do you think about that? What would I think about it? I don't think I'd want to offer a peace treaty to Iran because we've had agreements with them before. I still think that they'll smile in your face and try to subvert you as they always have. I mean, you're talking about a group of people that go, oh, death to America, and all this kind of stuff. How about just doing whatever we can to help the protesters who don't seem to have a problem with America at all, create the type of Iran that they're yearning for? Why don't we ally with them and make a treaty and a deal with them? Because we haven't done that before. How could we do that? I don't know. But doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome is kind of crazy, right? You heard that before. So, I don't want to have another deal. A treaty is just a deal. I don't want to have another deal with this regime. Because in terms of integrity, it's pretty well fake. America just goes from Republican to Democrat. We change leaders every once in a while. When the leadership changes, you know how that goes. But these are the same leaders for decades in Iran. They're not changing their tune. So, how about new leadership? How about new politics over there? Okay. Yeah, you know how the globalists, they do not make agreements with conservative Americans. They make agreements with the people that they have, the same principles of communism, socialism. They so that's why they bankroll people like Hillary Clinton. George Soros gets behind the people that are like him in our country. So, I mean, it behooves us to get behind the Iranians that are most like us conservatives, okay? That are most like us freedom-loving people. The problem is, we in our country are having a growing problem being infiltrated by communists who are waging a culture war and brainwashing our own citizens from within. And they are so bent on winning this culture war and brainwashing our own citizens from within that they would cause us to fight each other rather than solve some of these problems that plague us as Americans. I mean, it's America second and ideology first with these people. So maybe ideology is stronger than nationality for some people, and I get that. I don't think there's a way to avoid that conflict. The bottom line is socialism doesn't work. So once people find out that socialism doesn't work, they won't want to vote for it. So the only recourse that these people have is lying to divorce the results that have already come in, the results of socialism and communism. Those results have already come in. They just have to hide the facts of what socialism and communism have produced in order to keep socialism and communism looking like it's a plus in the eyes of the youth who haven't figured things out because they just young. And so through propaganda, they delayed the inevitable awakening. And in the meantime, these people are useful idiots voting for socialism and communism. That's the only way to keep it alive, because the scientific process has killed it. You people are treacherous. You suck. You suck. Everywhere around the world, leftists and dictators, you suck. You don't know anything about the real human spirit. Okay? We're fighting you, and you're going to die and be defeated. Because what you don't know is you're of your father, the devil. You don't even know that. You're going down. You are going to bruise the heel of Christ, and he is going to stomp on your head. You don't even know that socialism and communism is materialism, and materialism is of the body. And the body was the only hope that Satan had of controlling the children of God. Because the mind can understand God, but the body, just like as we see with drugs, the body can overpower the mind through addictions. So it is the world of addiction that you leftists actually are inevitably going towards. But addictions must consume materials, and addicts don't produce anything. So it necessarily means that you must be a vampire from the people who are left in the community producing things. And so that's who the rich are, and that's who the Christians are. Christians are the most charitable people, and you guilt shame them into giving things to you because you don't produce anything because you're an addict. And this is a standard set up at the fall of man, when Lucifer became the father of subsequent generations of Adam and Eve. Okay? So, anyway, that's really what's going on. Hey, talk to you later.